Good morning. This video here is strictly for the people that have beehives. This is a beehive video, so if you're not interested in bees or beehives and you're not raising bees, then this is your opportunity to get to where you need to get. But if you're just getting started with beehives, you know that if your bees in Texas or anywhere where you're at, they pretty much need to be fed in the wintertime and in the girth during the summer. Now summertime you can feed them sugar water, but in the wintertime you really shouldn't feed them sugar water because you want to try to keep as much moisture out of your hive as possible, because the moisture in the hive is what primarily will cause your bees to leave or die. So when you want to feed your bees in the wintertime, you have to use, you can use whatever you want to. I'm just making suggestions here, but it's recommended that you use a hard candy like fondant or homemade sugar, a sugar candy. And and I'm sure this has been done a million times, but I made a candy board and I'm fixing to make another one, and I'll show y'all how I did it. This is what it looks like. This is a queen excluder, and this is part of an old deep box that was rotten some way up, a couple of inches up on the sides, and some of the top was rotten, but the rest of it was good. It's 3 inches exactly from here to here, and it's already put together. You can see how the boards are together, so you can tell it's a deep box or a shallow or a medium. Doesn't really matter what you use. And a queen excluder here, and I put a couple of boards here and here to support the weight of the candy, because the candy is pretty heavy. And when you lay the candy here, it'll fill in this whole area, and it also gives space for the bees to come up here, eat the candy, and go back down. And you just put this on your hive box and put your outer cover, your inner cover on top of this, then your outer cover, and then I will show you how I made it. So here I have an old deep box. It's not in that bad a shape. It's got some cracking, and some of the wood is eaten down on it. You can see right there, and it's just an old beat up box. And if you don't have an old beat up box, ask your local beekeepers, and I'm sure that they have some around that are just too messed up and they don't want to use anymore. They're going to throw away or throw in a burn pile. Even if they throw it in a burn pile, you can get it and cut off what you need. Even if you have to cut way up here to get to the good wood, if this is rotten up here and this is rotten down here, you can get a 3-inch piece out of here. And what I did was I took a measurement between the blade and the guard of 3 inches. So when I cut this, it'll be exactly 3 inches. So let me cut it right quick, and I'll be right back with y'all, and we'll do the next step. And you can use primarily scrap wood that you have laying around the house to do all this. If not, job sites where they're building or something like that, they always have scrap lumber everywhere. So keep that in mind. Don't waste a whole lot of money. You can make a candy board for what with scrap wood and what a plastic queen excluder costs, which is less than $5. So that being said, if you go buy a candy board online or at the bee supply place, you're going to spend quite a lot more money than that. But let me cut this. I'm not going to bore y'all with cutting it because it's going to be loud and annoying. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to cut this, and I'll be right back. Also, I wanted to say, hold on a second. Let me get y'all fixed here. When you cut a deep box down to 3 inches, you virtually made yourself a honey super. So you can use that if you're short on mediums and you have plenty of deeps. There you go. You can cut some of your deeps down to make your candy boards, and voila, you have, hold on a second, put it together here. You have essentially made a honey super. So you got your two deeps, your bottom board, and a honey super, and a lid that I don't like. I don't care for these lids too much, but it will do for what it needs. With these kind of lids, you don't use a inner cover. I'm not sure why. I'm not I haven't done any research on that, but I've seen a lot of people that use those kind of lids. They don't have an inner cover. So it is what it is on that. I don't like it. I use my inner cover and I use the outer lid. And I'm giving those hives away, that hive away, to a friend of mine who's trying to get started with bees. So let's get back over here to our other project. So here's our cutout. All right, so here's the cutout. That's a 3-inch cutout, and you don't have to do 3 inches. I was just told 3 inches, but you could probably do 2.5 or 2 3/4. You don't have to be exactly 3 inches. And I just use these real cheap 1x or 2x2s, and I'll cut these to fit inside there. And let me go ahead and get these cut, and I'll show you how I gap them. All right, I got them cut, and I didn't have another one of these, so I had to go find a scrap piece of this, which is, it'll do just fine because you're just laying it flat. And what I did was take another one of these, just put it in there, close that gap up just like that. Make sure it's all squared. And then I'll put some screws on this end, some screws on that end, and then I'll do the same thing over there. Now, I don't have a tripod to set my phone up right now. It's in our other vehicle, which is gone. So all I'm going to do, literally, I've got a spacer here, got these boards here against this, and I'm going to run a couple of screws in here, a couple of screws in here, and I'm going to do the same thing over there. So I'll be right back. Okay, there it is. It's these boards are flush with the bottom, and I put 2 screws in one side and 1 screw in the other side, as it primarily makes this, it reinforces this, and it keeps this from spinning while you're putting your clean excluder on. Now, you don't have to use a clean excluder. You can use the hardware cloth number 7, I think it is, with the little square holes. And you can put your queen excluder on here. You can tell this is a used queen excluder. I like the metal ones. I don't really care for the plastic ones. And then make sure everything is lined up and straight on here, and you nail it down. So you can use staples. You can use nails with heads, not without, because the head, it'll pull out of this. You can use a combination of both, like I did on the last one. I used nails to hold it in place, and then put some staples in it. So I'll be right back. All I'm going to do is just nail this plastic piece down to this board. So give me a second. All right, there it is. One candy board, or number 2. I have 4 hives, but I only need 2 candy boards right now because I only have 2 sets of bees. You can see I put a couple of staples and nails, and you kind of want to make sure this is tacked down good because that candy is heavy. And I think it's 8 or 10 pounds is what I was told. But I want to thank M&R Local Honey. No. M&R Local Honey, yes. On Facebook, and Mike Thompson, who is my father, who made some using you need to go watch his video. He did his a little differently. almost the same but different, and his is just as good, if not better than this. But there's my candy board. Like I said, you put wax paper down here, put your candy here, which will cover this whole area. The bees come up to the sides right here, eat the candy and go back down. And I think it's a pretty good deal. Using old bee boxes saved a lot of time and a lot of money, because it literally took 5 minutes to make 2 of these. I know it's a 10-minute video, but I didn't spend the whole time on this. I went and moved that high box out there and did some other stuff y'all see in the video. But please like and subscribe to the channel if you're a beekeeper, and maybe we can swap different ideas out. And if you're an upcoming beekeeper or want to be beekeeper or fixing to be beekeeper, this is something that it'll really help you out in the wintertime to save your bees from the moisture, and also continue feeding your bees during the winter when there is no flowers to be had. Now I'm going to walk out here and show y'all something. I was going to end this at 10 minutes, and then God bless all of y'all. But I want y'all to see something. It is October the 2nd. Let me pause the video so I don't bore y'all with the long walk out to my bar ditch. Alright, like I must say, it is October the 2nd, and literally our honey flow, or taking care of the bees and the bees taking care of themselves, have a lot to do with the fall. Now I know it's really cold up north where some of y'all are, but here it is not. It's probably going to get to 90 degrees today here, but the number one thing we have down here in the fall for the bees is this stuff right here, and it's called goldenrod. And it literally within the last couple of days just started blooming. So the bees love this, and my whole ditch line is just absolutely filled with it. And it will only bloom for about a week or two, and the bees will get as much pollen off of these as they can. This morning the bees were just covered in this. These were just covered in bees this morning. So I guess they moved on to bigger and better things. Now here's a bee right here, if y'all can see him, getting the pollen off of our main fall flow flower. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Main fall flow flower. Is the goldenrod. Also, there's plenty of things that goldenrod benefits us. You can look up goldenrod tinctures, and I actually have some of that in the house from last year. And it does good when you have colds or you're not feeling good or sick to your stomach and stuff like that. But I'm very grateful for having this goldenrod. There's a field back there behind our house and towards the woods. It's probably acres and acres and acres of goldenrod. So, and some of these haven't even really fully bloomed yet. You can see where the flowers haven't fully developed yet. So when they do, in the next week or so, the bees are going to have plenty of food to eat. All right, guys. It seemed that I gained a lot of new subscribers last night, and I appreciate it. Tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know what tomorrow brings. And always remember, even bad publicity is good publicity. Anyway, talk to y'all later, and we'll have a good one. Thank y'all all for watching.